And I really do believe romance novels brought back to me the spark of what my marriage was all about. I called the recruiter. He said, you want to leave this broadcasting and go into the Navy? Best decision I ever made. I start to lose the thread of the enjoyment of my life when I'm not reading. I'm going to go do what I want to do. And if someone gets in my way, then I'm going to pivot. I'm going to do something else. There's not going to be any fanfare, but I'm going to live my life as fully as I possibly can.
Hi, everyone. It's Samantha Tennant, and welcome to another Fresh Fiction Video Book Club. Today's guest is New York Times, USA Today best-selling author Cathy Maxwell. And for me, Cathy is a joy. I was counting years and realized the first time I'd actually met her in person was probably about 15 years ago.
We go
I
way
was
back. We
way
go
back.
back. We go
And I
back.
was
Yeah.
reading you well before that.
Yeah.
And because you've been writing for a while. But with
Yeah.
all of that, you're one of my favorite people. And not only as an
Yeah.
author, but that we've gotten to be friends over the
I
years.
know. Thank you. I know. It's wonderful.
Because whenever I think about you, Cathy, it's always with laughter
Oh,
and that just love of life.
thank you.
That's what I think of you with.
That is a wonderful compliment. Thank you so much, Samantha, because I always have laughs with you. I always have a good, that's why I sit next to you at so many events. I'm like, I'll sit next to Sam. This is going to be good. Yes.
And then we cause problems. Yes.
Yeah. No, they're just jealous. The other people are just jealous. That's all.
Well, let's go back a little bit, back to when you were first starting writing, because you had a bit of a journey before you actually started getting published.
Oh, you
And
want to go
everyone
there,
might,
huh? You want to go all the way back
let's at
there.
least touch on it.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. All right. Hit it.
I mean, because you started as a news broadcaster.
Yeah. I was a news broadcaster and I covered Southwest Kansas. So I had the Tri-City area of Dodge City, Garden City, and Liberal, Kansas. The Garden City, the cowboy capital, and the pancake capital. And I also covered the Oklahoma Panhandle at one point. So yeah,
These are
I was
exciting
way out there.
locations. Yes.
I learned some football. That's what I learned out there. Yes. People will argue they were sitting there going, she doesn't know anything about sports. And they're right. I didn't. I did not. So,
And from there, you joined the Navy because that's what you do when you're in Kansas.
exactly. I went through AFES in Amarillo because it was close. I was off the Oklahoma Panhandle. So I was doing the news, and it was at a point. It was my first job out of college, and it was okay, you've got to picture this. This little radio station is sitting out in the middle of a wheat field in southwest Kansas, and the show would beam from Wichita, Kansas. It was an ABC station, and they'd beam from and then we would cut out, and I would do the local sports, which was very, very important. I would give the grain futures, another very important thing, and whatever little news anybody wanted to hear. And it would just, I'd break out and there I'd be. And so I did that for a good year. And I also did voiceovers for advertising. I wrote advertising copy. I collected all the news. I did the affidavits, the advertising for the station, all the billing and everything. I made coffee and I vacuumed. You just can't get jobs like that anymore. But it was great. I mean, it was a great opportunity. I loved being out in Southwest Kansas. It was just, I'm a Midwesterner. I am originally from Kansas, so it makes sense. And but then I decided I had the chance to move up to Wichita, and I saw my life pass before me. From Wichita, I would go to Omaha, and then maybe from Omaha, I'd go to St. Joe. And by that time, I'd be 30 years old. And back in the day, once a female broadcaster hit 30, she was dead. They just put her in the ground. I mean, that was all there is to it. But I'd always wanted to join the Navy. And so I made a decision. I made a list of the 25 things I wanted to do in my life. Writing a book was one of the 25 things. I didn't have any idea what I wanted to write, but it was like, I mean, this was just an act of faith. And so here it is, 25 things I want to do. And joining the Navy was still on there. I wanted to see, I had wanderlust. I wanted to see the world. And so I called the recruiter. He said, you want to leave this broadcasting and go into the Navy? Best decision I ever made. It was a great decision. I ended up working in the Pentagon. I've seen a good portion of the world. I've been very happy because after a while, reading the news is kind of like reading bedtime stories to people. And I'd rather make news. I'd rather make news. So there we go.
I was going to go a different tangent, but now I'm curious.
Yeah, but I just took you. I just took you.
I know this is what you do.
I'll hijack it. I'll hijack
Yes,
this
yes.
thing. Yes.
But I'm curious on the list. So, because I'm at a bit of a career crossroads myself and trying to figure out my next step. What all was really driving that list? And are there still things on that list that you have yet to do?
You know, I don't think so. And I don't have the list anymore. People will ask me, they said, well, have you, but I remember I wanted to get married. Had that on the list. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to travel. I wanted to be in the Navy. I wanted to write a book. It was just all these things. And I sat there and kind of what really spoke to my heart. And for one thing, it was being a broadcaster wasn't on the list. I didn't feel comfortable with the environment, with where things were going. I was women reading the news at that point. I'm going to date myself here. Was a very new thing. I mean, Barbara Walters was just showing up on the evening newscast, and people were losing their minds. Male broadcasters were losing their minds. So there was a limit, and I don't like limits. My attitude, and I think you can relate to this too, Samantha. My attitude is that I'm going to go do what I want to do. And if someone gets in my way, then I'm going to pivot. I'm going to do something else. There's not going to be any fanfare, but I'm going to live my life as fully as I possibly can. I'm going for it. And that was my pivot. I'm going for it.
Well, and with that, there's also the embracing of change. You have to be open to do that because you've just gone through that again yourself. You had moved down to Texas and now you're back on the East Coast.
Moved back to the East Coast. I know. Yes. Talk about big change. Yes. All of it a big change. And you know what? But I enjoyed my time in Texas. I enjoy my time. I'm living in West Virginia right now. And I'm right outside of Washington, D.C., which I've always enjoyed D.C. I used to work in the Pentagon, remember? I've always enjoyed D.C. So and the taxes are really cheap here. I'm just putting in my plug for West Virginia life, but a beautiful area. I'm surrounded by family. I had family in Texas, so it all works out. I'm going to be back in Texas next month. It's all good.
Well, what is that move for you? Because you had built up a writing network here in Texas also. Yeah. Because again, that's something that you do, right? You build that community around yourself and you meet with other authors and then you leave that particular network, move elsewhere. And I have no doubt that you're creating another one.
Yeah, but you know, with the internet, everybody comes with you. So I was spent 28 years in Virginia. And so I was a member. Meg is, knows about the Washington Romance Writers. I was very active in the Washington Romance Writers. And then, so after 28 years, I left. I went to Texas. There is a Texas Romance Writers Association. I'm involved in that. I made great friends. You know what it is, Samantha? It's like having a party waiting for you wherever you go. You just plug into that romance community and people will say, you're all so nice. And it's true. Everybody's very nice. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. So you just plug into these communities. So now I'm back and I'm plugging in again. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've always learned something new about you whenever we've gotten together.
Oh, really?
Is that, I know, isn't that crazy still? But specifically on your network. Because a lot of times maybe readers are thinking, oh, you're only talking to other Regency or historical romance writers. Well, that is far from the case. Remember at one of our get-togethers, you were talking about rooming with Sherilyn Kenyon.
Oh, yeah.
And again, it's that broad network of different writers across all different genres.
Well, I think the thing about romance writers is the fact that they are, well, it's also true about romance readers. And we touched on it here in the 30 minutes before.
Mm-hmm.
It's we don't just read romance. We read whatever is going to give us a good story.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We read the back of cereal boxes. We can't go a moment without having something to read in front of us. I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee that most of us sit there and we may be watching TV, but we've got something to read close in hand for the commercials or whatever comes up, or, we just have active minds. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I'm losing the train of the thought there. What was the question again? I forgot already. I'm so busy going on about this. But I'll talk to people in independent bookstores and they say, well, romance readers, we don't carry romance, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but you're making a mistake because we're going to read all the way through the store. We're going to read
Yeah.
mystery. We're going to read horror. We're going to read nonfiction. We're going to buy books for our kids. We're going to walk out with a stack of books for our kids like this, and you don't want to miss those sales. But it's my little banner to carry. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you've always been that advocate too for romance novels,
Mhm.
saying, everyone loves love.
Oh, it does. True. It
Right.
is true. Yes. Everybody.
And with that, like you said, we're all reading across multiple genres with that.
Yeah.
But with all that, how are you always finding the fresh new stories? Because you have stayed in Regency England, sometimes
Mhm.
London, sometimes you've gone up to Scotland.
Right, right,
Your
right,
current
right,
characters are
right.
Irish, but it's still in that same time period.
Samantha, I'm kind of caught back on this. Everybody loves love. And yet everybody acts like writing a love story is the simplest thing in the world to write.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody has this feeling that it's just, well, they just look across the room and they hit it off together and this sort of things. So, how do I try and keep it fresh? By varying the stories. I think there is a misbelief that the stories are simple, um, and they're far from it. Some of the books have mysteries in them. You mentioned Sherilyn Kenyon. Sherilyn Kenyon has, got paranormal elements. She has mysteries in everything that's in her books. Just there's just so much depth in these books we love to read. And many times, like one of the things I've kind of done is organizing romance reading salons. I'm a big advocate for those because I think that if people will listen to the story with an open mind, they will come to realize the depth of character, the engrossing conflicts, the situations, and the humor. I mean, how many times did someone mention, "Oh, I love this
Mhm.
book. It had so much humor in it and everything." That that makes everything so real for all of us, but also engages something in our imaginations that makes life really good. So that when I get done reading a really good book, I sit there and I think, this was the best use of my time.
Mhm.
I loved getting to know these people. I gained some insight into my life. And that had a lot to do with me because when I first started, I was not a romance reader. I was my mother was. My mother was an avid romance reader. We had 3 or 4 Harlequin book clubs coming to the house every month. And so, she would sit down, boy, she would whip through those books. So we would call them Mom's Little Books.
Oh.
But something happened to me when it was after my second pregnancy. I had the baby blues. I had a terrible depression. And this was really kind of, they were just toying with the idea that women have the blues and why don't they snap out of it or have a good drink, whatever it is, whatever game they want to play with that sort of thing. And I went into my local library and I'm kind of dragging with a baby and a toddler, and I'm not doing real well. And this woman walks in behind me, and she has got 3 toddlers with her, and she's hugely pregnant, and she's carrying this big grocery sack full of books, and she sets it on the counter, and she goes to the librarian, "We'll be in the children's section." And he said, "Okay." And off she goes. And I go, what are you going to do with what's this? And he said, oh, these, I I empty them out and then I put fresh books in. And I said, any kind of books? He goes, oh no, romance novels. And I looked at him and I must have looked so dragged out. And I said, romance novels. My mother reads those. I can't. But this woman had so much energy. And he pushes two at me and he says, why don't you try it?
Wow.
And I went home and I read those two books. And then I went back the next day with my own grocery bag. And, what would happen is my husband would leave for work and I'd have a stack of books at my right hand. And he would come home and the books had been moved over to the left hand because I'd read them. And he thought, he's like, the house hasn't been cleaned. Nothing's getting done, but the kids are alive. And I was actually smiling and talking to him. I had some energy. And I really do believe romance novels brought back to me the spark of what my marriage was all about. It brought back to me the spark of being part of a community. It brought back the spark of adventure, kind of adventure that everyday life is, that you get lost when you're doing 50 loads of laundry a day. No spark in laundry.
No, there's not.
No one has written a small town romance novel where she owns a laundry. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No, folding those clothes are some days it's the bane of my existence. They just get stacked somewhere. It's like that can
and wait. It's just my clothes. That's it. It's just my clothes.
But I think that's also so telling. And one of the things that we've had discussions about in our book clubs, and I've had with other friends, because hey, I read romance, and everybody that knows me knows that I read romance. I came out of that closet a long time ago. I read all sorts of different romance, but that's primarily what I will read. There might be other books and other thrillers and everything, but the core and what I enjoy are those romance novels, be it paranormal, the latest space alien.
Oh, I'm searching for the relationship in every book I read.
Exactly. And that's the thing I know when I am reading a romance, that despite everything else going on, you always have that happily ever after, or at least the happily.
I can trust that. I can trust that. Yes.
And they're going through all these ups and downs, and I am usually learning something out of them also, especially when it was the historicals that I read when I was much younger, all the medieval and everything. I'd write all these facts down for my history classes. But then I talked to other friends and they're like, oh no, I don't read those. And they're kind of lofty about it. Oh, I read literature. And it's like, well, that's fine, but I don't want to spend all my hours in a book where I'm crying.
And then Bridgerton comes on.
Oh gosh.
And everybody's crazy for Bridgerton. And so now I read Bridgerton. I don't read the rest of them. It's so fun. It really is. But I think reading feeds my imagination. And I think we lose something when we don't read. Not we, but I read. I start to lose the thread of the enjoyment of my life when I'm not reading. I mean, life starts to get to be a drudge. And I need to escape into a different world, or escape into seeing the world through other people's eyes, to kind of get, a little bit of verve into what I'm doing.
And does that translate over when you are writing, and especially when you're starting a new series? Because you've had some series and books that are full on the laughter and the light, and they're just lots and lots of fun. But you've also had series where there's the love, obviously, but they're also talking about and touching on darker subjects. I mean, you've talked about alcoholism in some of your books. Do you know that going in, or is that something that evolves as you are working your way through the story?
I think it's something that evolves as I'm going through with the book. And I do believe that the power of good couples is that even in the darkest of times, they're there to support each other and they can make each other laugh. That there is that kind of kindred soul, which is really good, because I'm watching, couples age. And if you don't start laughing about arthritis, and if you can't make jokes to the person who's on the other side of the bed with you about it, it can get real grim. I mean, you can see people get There's some people that are like, okay, this marriage is over. I can't handle this. Because even in the dark times, we want to know that there's somebody there that's going to help
Yeah.
buoy up our spirits, that's an important thing to do. So yeah, I've touched upon that, especially in the Regency where all you drank was spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord help anybody that did have the disease of alcoholism, you were going to go down the river. That would be all there is to
Yeah.
it. Yes. But they were very tolerant about it. So
Yes.
there is that.
Yes.
So there is that.
Yes.
Yes.
But of course, I want to make sure that we're mentioning your current series because the latest book, A Touch of Steel, is the third one in The Gambler's Daughters.
Yes.
And this series, a group of Irish lasses who have come to Regency London to find love and are realizing it's not exactly the smoothest of paths like they were expecting.
Well, of course, nothing ever is. Even that list of 25 that I started off with, I've had lots of bumps along the way. Yes. Yes, but the idea that we're all going to take a risk in life,
Mm-hmm.
When does life get interesting? It gets interesting when we decide to make a change. It gets interesting when we decide to act on our own behalf and do something that really speaks to us, whether it's taking on a volunteer gig or moving to another side of the country or taking a risk on a relationship. I can't think of anything more dangerous than absolutely having to trust somebody that you don't have any control over whatsoever. You may think you have control, but that's the fun, isn't it? You don't.
Yeah.
No one does. No one does. So yes, I think that with this series, this Gambler's Daughters, the idea that they are taking a risk, they're going to go. Actually, the setup is they're three landless heiresses. No, not, and they're not heiresses. They're broke. They're just broke. But they've got it. They've got a title. They got good family. They're going to head to London, and they deserve dukes. They're going to go after some dukes. But things happen along the way, as life happens all the time. So I enjoyed writing this series. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like the idea of strong women. Impulsive women are especially fun. The second book, One Dangerous Night, is really about an impulsive act on the part of one of these women. And who hasn't done something impulsive before?
Exactly. No, it's been a fun series. I've enjoyed.
Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the third book, of course, is about Mr. Steele. And we meet Mr. Steele in the first book. And I'll tell you something. I wrote the first chapter where I introduced Mr. Steele.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go on and I write about Dara, the sister, and who she's supposed to meet. I'm probably giving this away. Who cares? Whatever. So when the copy edits and everything come back to promote the book, they had taken that kiss in the first chapter and they'd written it up like Mr. Steele was the hero of that book.
Oh, no.
And so I had to call. I said, no, don't you remember? The editor and I were like, wouldn't it be more fun if Mr. Steele gets his own book at the end on the third book and everything? So that caused a little trauma at that point because they were like, why not? We want his book. But I think Mr. Steele is worth waiting for. I had a good time writing his character. I like the fact that he's a lone wolf. I think a lot of men like to believe they are lone wolves. And we all know that they are pussycats. That all they want to do is sit in your lap and purr, right? So, yes.
Well, with that bit of a tease, let's move over to our fresh fiction facts. Okay. See if we can get a couple of these in.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay.
Okay. And I have to admit, I don't have my normal list in front of me because I have a whole new setup. So these are also going to be what can I remember off the top of my head.
Okay. So, all right.
Okay. All right. Amber alerts coming through. Mute that. Okay. Considering how many different authors that you do know, this one's going to be tough on you. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who do you think needs to be up on the Mount Rushmore of writing?
Georgette Eyre.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Because she inspired me. She's inspired so many writers. And I think that she's kind of the modern she is the mistress of the modern Regency romance novel. Certainly, I see her in Amanda Quick. I see her in Julie Quinn. I see her in Eloisa James. I see her everywhere.
She's one I started with.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Dominic, the Devil's Cub. Oh, he's still my heart.
Hey, you have three more.
Okay, go.
Three more for Mount Rushmore.
I got to do. I have to put in their faces. Oh my gosh. Three more. Okay, and what are you saying? These are characters, or have I?
The writers.
Oh, the writers.
Yeah.
Okay, so Georgia
writers should be on Mount Rushmore.
That I think should be on Mount Rushmore, and they're historical writers, correct? I'm going to name one that's contemporary that has just really made me happy. That's Ashley Poston, who's the author of Dead Romantics.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't read that, you must read it. It's
okay.
Such a charming writer. She is just so wonderful. Okay, another one I think is the fabulous Lorraine Heath. I don't think anybody writes angst better than Lorraine does. She's just pretty amazing. She is pretty amazing. And then for the next one, this is so hard. You're right. This is really, really hard. I'm going to hit somebody who you don't hear a lot about, but she writes humor. She's got a really good touch to all of it, and that's Elizabeth Boyle.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. I interviewed her recently for her latest book.
Yes.
I made her cry, Cathy. I felt so
good.
bad.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you did that. Yes. Anything that corrals Elizabeth Boyle.
Oh, yeah.
Good thing. Yes.
Another one I love. Yes. Yes. And the thing is, of course, with you, Elizabeth, and Lorraine, we're all authors that I had read for years before actually meeting you.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I was so happy that you guys did not disappoint when I met you in person.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. Recently, I was with a group of writers. We'll talk about that in a second. But I was with a group of writers, and they were all like, "Oh, Cathy, I read you. I started off reading you. And I'm sitting there going, okay, that's a sign you've been around a long time. But you know what? I'm happy to have been around. It's been a lot.
That's why I have all the millions of books that I bring to the signings. Is because I was reading you before all the electronic books came out.
Yeah. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Samantha. It really, because writing is kind of a lonely business. Mm-hmm. And I never know if a book's going to work until someone sits there and says, that hit all the buttons. I was sitting there waiting. My mother's going through chemotherapy. I'm sitting out in the waiting room, and your book was there. And for the space of a few hours, I could cope with life. Mm-hmm. And that is a compliment. That's a great compliment.
Okay, another question.
Okay, questions.
Would you rather go back in time and meet your ancestors or go forward and meet your descendants?
Oh my gosh, I want to go forward and meet my descendants.
See, and knowing your kids, I am not surprised by that answer.
Yeah. I am like sitting down and thinking, we're going to have some jailbirds coming up. I just had this feeling that they are some rabble rousers out there. Yes. I'm those grandkids, I'm kind of looking at them like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Watch it.
What is your favorite road trip gas station snack?
That is, okay. I don't know. You don't have a sheet. Some of you might have a sheet, but there is this snack that they have that it's like semi-sweet chocolate with nuts and berries and like a little taffy caramel like thing in there. Oh my gosh. It's just, it's such a treat. It's such a treat. And it comes in a bag that's like this big, but it's only like maybe enough to sit in your palm, that sort of thing. But it's delicious. Cashews, almonds, it's wonderful. I love it.
What is the thing that you're always forgetting when you're rushing out the door?
Ooh. My water bottle.
Oh.
Yeah. I like stay hydrated, folks. Got to stay hydrated. Yeah.
Yep. No, I get that. Yeah. Which is why I usually have so many different ones scattered all over the place.
They're
Go
all
figure.
underneath the seat of my car. Yeah.
What is your most dog-eared book? Either the one that you continually go back to read for pleasure or for research.
I was thinking about that. What book have I been looking at the most? Now, those Georgia Air books, I mean, Devil's Cup, that's a big one. But I've got to recommend this one. It's by the therapist Lori Gottlieb. She writes a column for The Atlantic. And the name of the book is You Should Talk to Someone About That. It's something like you should talk to someone about that. And it's about a therapist, her patients, and her own therapy.
Mm.
And it is so insightful about why people do the things they do. And that's really when we're writing stories, that's what we're doing. We're setting up circumstances, and then we're sitting back and watching people do the things that I wouldn't be bold enough to do. I'd be afraid to do. I'm not going to run off I've got too much sense to run away in the middle of the night with no money to my name. I like my creature comfort.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fascinating what human nature will show us. And this book, especially on personal relationships
Mm-hmm.
and dealing with trauma in lives, is just insightful. It's a wonderful read. It's a wonderful read. I've read it 3 times in the past 2 years. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I really enjoy it.
What is the craziest thing that you've bought online?
Hmm. That is a hard question because I buy a lot of online stuff. My kids know there's a deadline because the packages start showing up. And it used to be they started showing up from QVC. And then I graduated to they showed up from Amazon. So what is the craziest thing I bought online? A house.
Way.
Yeah, I bought my house in Texas online. While I was still in the hospital, I was in the trauma unit in the hospital. Okay, this
Because
is
that's
another
when you
story.
broke your foot, right?
No, this isn't where I broke it. This is when I fell off the horse.
Ah, okay.
That wasn't a smart move, but that's how I ended up in Texas because the horse left. I didn't go with it. And when I came to, and I can remember I sat up on the ground and I'm thinking, ooh, this is really bad. And then my next thought was, I'm moving to Texas because my son had been saying, you can't stay here by yourself. You need to move closer to one of us. And sure enough, I wake up in the trauma unit. I've got all the kids have come from all over the country. And I'm thinking, well, of course. So I bought a house from the hospital online.
Without ever seeing or visiting it?
Well, they were building a house around the corner from it, and I knew that they weren't going to buy anything bad.
Okay.
I saw the
Okay.
blueprint, but I mean, I think people buy houses online now.
That would give me way too much anxiety.
It probably did, but when you bought as many houses as it's like, okay, let's go through the catalog. What is it? I like this. And it was a great house. I loved the house. The house was great.
Mm-hmm. Wow, Cathy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That went through me. No, I was not expecting that one. Okay. What is something that takes you out of a story, whether when you're writing one or when you're reading or even watching a movie?
Violence.
Violence.
Yeah, I am not a violence person.
Mm-hmm.
I can read some violence. It's like sex. I can read any sex scene as long as it's justified and it's in keeping with the characters. I mean, to me, a good sex scene flows with the story. And it's the same thing, I suppose, with violence, that I have to be very careful because if it's gratuitous, if it's too
Mm-hmm.
much, no, that leaves me out. And it's interesting
Mm-hmm.
because Sarah mentioned The Gentleman, which I enjoyed. And it has some violence in it,
Mm-hmm.
but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. So, but if I'm reading a story and there's violence, ooh, anything violent to children, I'm out of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Mm-hmm. What books are you looking forward to reading?
I just downloaded the Sarah McLean book. Oh my gosh, what's the name of it? The Summer Storms, or help me out here.
I got to notice that a new one just came out, but I can't remember the title of it either.
Yes, I've got it. I'll have it a second. The other thing that you asked me what I'm looking forward to reading. Okay, so the Sarah McLean book, of course, I want to support Sarah. These Summer Storms. I want to make sure that we get that in there by Sarah McLean. But the other thing is that I'm going to be at GenreCon in Kansas City,
Yes.
August 8th and 9th, and I have been asked to interview Jasmine Guillory.
Awesome.
So I
She's
have
their keynote this year.
Aha, see, this is good. I've got buy the book and I've got the proposal and I've already read the wedding date. So now I've got a whole list of I've got 3 or 4 of her books on here that I'm looking forward to reading. Then I've got, These Summer Storms by Sarah McLean. I might not get to that until I'm on the plane to Kansas City. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But that's what I've looked up. I'm kind of lined up right now.
And I know GenreCon just posted the full list of other authors that are attending.
Yes. And I'm going to be doing the Lady KC reading salon again.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll sit down. That'll be on the Friday. And I think it's a real treat to hear an author read from their own work. Just like it's like going to a concert live. There's a difference. Right. There's a difference in the performance and what everybody has to say. So I'll be doing that again, and then I'll be interviewing Jasmine Guillory. I'm thrilled.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, Cathy, we always want to know, even if a new book has come out, what are you working on next?
Oh my gosh, I've got a great project and I can't talk about it. I can't. I said to them, I'm going to be on Fresh Fiction and everything. They said, well, we can't talk about it yet. I'm going to be doing a collaboration with 8 other authors. I can't tell you who they are. However, if you keep track of my Facebook page or my website, or you follow my newsletter or anything, they'll be releasing that hopefully by the end of this month. But the collaboration is really good. I can't even say what the name is, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And these authors, it's just like the energy level. I'm so excited. But I can tell you a little bit about my part is I'm writing about the rake. And it's the
reformed rake.
The reformed rake, right? And now here, I'm going to toss this out to you. Let's see what you think about it. And I think what I want to do is I want to switch it. And I want us to meet him. And he is a different person than the way our heroine remembered him. She remembered him as the darling, the rake, the fun one, the person that all the women liked and all the men admired. And he was fun and he was secretly her passion, blah, blah, blah. And instead, what she meets is a very stern, austere man who has changed completely and is not, there is no such thing as fun.
Wow.
Very, very serious about life. And so her mission becomes bringing the rake back to the surface, re-raking him. That's it. She's going to re-rake him. Yes. And I think that's a really fun thing because in a couple, isn't that what happens? We bring out the best of each other. We give people the confidence to be who they are. So I haven't quite worked out exactly what little trauma has set him off that he has become so sober. But we want her to liven him up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh, gosh. That's going to be so much fun. I can already tell.
You know what? It is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I wish I could tell you, some of these authors. You're going to be so excited. I'm excited. Wow. I'm excited.
So you mentioned some of the different places that people can keep in touch with you, but what is actually your website name so people can keep track and find out as more details become available?
Okay. Well, Cathy Maxwell, Cathy. I'm a C Cathy. I spell it correctly. I'm sorry to all the other Cathys. And CathyMaxwell.com is my website. But you can always find me on Instagram or on Facebook at Maxwell Cathy. And if you ever go on to talk or anything, I'm going to be the one that answers because I do like to yak. So So that's the place you can find me. I'm going to be in Dallas, by the way, October 15th at Buns and Roses.
Buns and Roses.
So I am looking forward to heading back to Dallas. I'm looking forward to seeing my good friends there, seeing you. I hope you'll be at their Buns and Roses, seeing Sarah, everybody. I'm excited.
Well, you know, we always love it when you come back to Texas and we have the chance to spend time with you, including yakking with you tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, readers and listeners, if you have not had a chance to check out this latest series, A Touch of Steel is the latest release. So be sure and grab that. And there's an entire backlist of Cathy's books. And I can tell you, no matter which one you pick up, you are going to enjoy it. Cathy, it was so great to talk with you today.
Well, thank you, Samantha. You're one of my favorites. So thank you.